Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins All World, coin enthusiasts. Today, we're diving deep into the world of rare and valuable US coins, and we have a truly fascinating one for you to explore, the 1989 Washington quarter dollar. Now, you might think that a coin minted in 1989 doesn't hold much of a surprise, but wait until you hear just how valuable this coin can be. In fact, this little gem has been known to fetch some jaw-dropping amounts on the market. Stay tuned because by the end of this video, you'll be shocked by just how much one of these quarters could be worth today. The Washington quarter dollar has been in circulation since 1932, and it's one of the most iconic coins in American history. The coin features the image of George Washington, the first president of the United States, on the obverse. This coin was first introduced to commemorate Washington's 200th birthday and has since become a staple in U.S. currency. The 1989 Washington quarter, while part of the standard design, has garnered attention for its surprising value under certain conditions, but let's first talk about the significance of the year 1989. By the time this coin was minted, the U.S. was in the midst of a dynamic period. The 1980s were marked by significant changes in the economy and the global stage. It was also a time when coin production in the U.S. was shifting towards producing coins that were more durable and cost-effective. The Washington quarter from 1989 stands as a marker of this shift, produced at the height of an era defined by the tail end of the Reagan administration. Now, let's look at the design of the 1989 Washington quarter dollar. On the obverse, the coin displays a detailed portrait of George Washington, created by artist John Flanagan. The design is classic, showing Washington facing left, with the inscription "Liberty" above his head and the year 1989 inscribed below. In addition to these, the word "In God We Trust" is seen to the left, reinforcing the coin's patriotic theme. Washington's portrait on the quarter is a timeless representation of American leadership and legacy. The reverse side of the 1989 Washington quarter showcases an eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, holding an olive branch in its talons. The eagle symbolizes strength, freedom, and courage, while the arrows and olive branch represent the balance between peace and defense. The reverse is a powerful reminder of the values and principles upon which the United States was founded. Now, you might be wondering, what makes the 1989 Washington quarter so valuable? For most of the quarters minted that year, the value is relatively low, with most being worth just a little more than face value. But when it comes to rare coins, it's all about the condition, the mint mark, and the possibility of special errors. The 1989 Washington quarter can hold significantly more value if it has been well preserved over time. Coins that are in uncirculated condition, meaning they have never been used in everyday transactions and have minimal wear, are highly prized among collectors. These coins retain their original shine and details, which makes them rare and valuable. A coin in near-perfect condition can fetch a much higher price than a worn or circulated coin. In addition to the coin's condition, the mint mark plays a crucial role in its value. Coins minted in different locations can be rarer than others, especially if a particular mint mark was only used for a limited number of coins in a given year. For the 1989 Washington quarter, coins with certain mint marks could be worth more than their counterparts, but here's the kicker: while the majority of 1989 Washington quarters don't carry significant value, there are some extraordinary cases where this coin can be worth quite a lot. In fact, if you happen to find a 1989 Washington quarter in pristine condition, free from marks, scratches, or other imperfections, it can fetch an impressive amount on the open market. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins like these, as the value of well-preserved coins tends to rise significantly over time. Additionally, if your 1989 Washington quarter has a rare minting error, that can add another layer of value. Sometimes coins are produced with mistakes, such as double strikes or off-center designs, that make them unique and collectible. Coins with these types of errors are in high demand among numismatists, and their rarity can send the value skyrocketing. So, how much could a 1989 Washington quarter be worth? If you happen to find one in excellent condition or with a rare mint mark, you could be in for a real treat. An uncirculated 1989 Washington quarter, particularly one with a rare mint mark or a notable error, could be worth as much as $110,000. Today, we have an exciting piece of U.S. coin history to talk about, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar. It might surprise you to know that this seemingly simple coin holds a lot more value than you might expect. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, you're going to want to stick around as we dive into what makes the 1965 Washington quarter so special. By the end of this video, you'll be amazed at just how much this coin could be worth. Let's start with a quick look back at the history behind the Washington quarter. This coin has been in circulation since 1932 and features the portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States. Designed by John Flanagan, Washington's image on the obverse side of the coin has become one of the most iconic depictions of an American figure in coin history. The Washington quarter was introduced as part of the U.S. Mint's efforts to create a more enduring and symbolic coinage for the country. The design has changed slightly over the years, but Washington's face has remained a central feature. On the reverse side, you'll find an eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing the balance between peace and defense. This design has become synonymous with American strength and freedom. But now, let's focus on the 1965 Washington quarter. This particular year is of significant interest to coin collectors, as it falls during a pivotal time in U.S. history. The 1960s were marked by intense social and political change, and the U.S. Mint was under pressure to create coinage that would reflect both the era's challenges and the country's progress. 1965 was also the year when the United States underwent a major transition in its coinage. This was the first year that the quarter, along with other coins like the dime and nickel, was struck without any silver content. In 1964, silver was removed from most U.S. coinage due to rising silver prices and the economic pressures of the time. Instead, the 1965 quarters were made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, which gave them a different feel and appearance compared to their silver predecessors. What makes the 1965 Washington quarter dollar so interesting to collectors is the fact that this was the start of a new era for U.S. coins. The composition change, along with other economic factors, led to the 1965 quarter being more abundant than previous years, but certain features can make it especially valuable if you know what to look for. One of the main things that makes this coin so appealing to collectors is its rarity and high-grade, uncirculated condition. Because the 1965 Washington quarter was produced in such large numbers, many of these coins were heavily circulated, making it more difficult to find one in pristine shape today. A 1965 quarter that has survived the years without much wear, and that still has crisp details and an overall clean look, can be worth far more than its original face value. In addition to the condition of the coin, the mint mark is another key factor in determining value. The 1965 Washington quarter was minted at several U.S. mint facilities, and some of the mint marks are rarer than others. For example, a quarter minted in Philadelphia doesn't have a mint mark, while those produced in Denver or San Francisco will carry the D and S mint marks, respectively. Coins with these mint marks, especially in high grades, tend to be more valuable to collectors, but it's not just about the condition or mint mark. There's another important factor to consider with the 1965 Washington quarter: errors. Like many other coins, the 1965 quarter was subject to the occasional minting mistake. These errors can make a coin incredibly valuable. For instance, a quarter with a double die, where the image appears to be struck more than once, can be worth significantly more than a regular quarter. If you happen to find a 1965 quarter with an error like this, you could have a rare collector's item in your hands. Now, let's talk about how much a 1965 Washington quarter could be worth. If you manage to find one of these coins in uncirculated condition, the value could be significantly higher than you might think. In fact, a well-preserved 1965 Washington quarter, particularly one with a rare mint mark or an error, can be worth as much as $120,000, that's right, $120,000 for a single quarter. It's hard to believe that a coin which once had a face value of just 25 cents could be worth such an incredible amount. This goes to show how important rarity, condition, and minting details are in the world of coin collecting. Today, we're diving into a fascinating piece of U.S. numismatic history, the 1970 Washington quarter dollar. While many of us are familiar with the classic Washington quarter, you may not know that the 1970 edition holds an intriguing place in coin collecting circles, especially when it comes to its rarity and value. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be amazed at just how much this unassuming coin could be worth. To start, let's talk about the history behind the Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was introduced back in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. This iconic coin, designed by John Flanagan, features a profile of the first president of the United States on the obverse side, while the reverse side traditionally depicts an eagle. Over the decades, the design has undergone some changes, but Washington's image has remained a symbol of American heritage and strength. The Washington quarter was produced continuously from 1932 through the present, with only slight variations in design and metal composition over time. The 1970 Washington quarter is particularly interesting because it falls in a unique period of U.S. coinage. By 1970, the country had already made the monumental decision to switch away from using silver in its coins. Before 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver, but by 1970, the composition had changed to a copper-nickel-clad metal due to rising silver prices and economic pressure. This shift meant that quarters like the 1970 version were no longer made of precious metals, but were still widely circulated across the country. So, what makes the 1970 Washington quarter stand out in the world of coin collecting? One of the key factors is its relative rarity, especially when it comes to finding one in high-grade, uncirculated condition. Since the 1970 quarters were minted in huge quantities, many of them were used in everyday transactions, leading to wear and tear over the years. The result? Most of the 1970 quarters you'll find in circulation today are well worn, with visible scratches, nicks, and fading of the design. However, if you happen to find one that's been well preserved, particularly one in near-perfect condition, it could be worth much more than the face value of 25 cents. To give you a sense of how valuable this coin can become, let's talk about mint marks. The 1970 Washington quarter was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The quarters minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, while those from Denver carry a D, and those from San Francisco are marked with an S. The value of the coin can be influenced by the mint mark, with some mint marks being rarer and more sought after by collectors. However, it's not just the mint mark that matters. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. A 1970 Washington quarter in high-grade, uncirculated condition can command a premium price. Coins that are free of scratches, discoloration, and other imperfections are in high demand. If you come across a 1970 quarter that looks as if it just came from the mint, it could be worth significantly more than its original face value. But wait, there's more. In addition to high-grade examples of the 1970 quarter, error coins are another huge draw for collectors. Minting errors happen when a coin doesn't get struck correctly, resulting in defects or irregularities. Some of these errors are incredibly rare and can cause a coin to skyrocket in value. For instance, if you find a 1970 Washington quarter with a double die or an off-center strike, it could be worth much more than a regular coin. These errors are highly prized by collectors because they're unique and can't be replicated. Now, let's talk about just how much you could be sitting on if you have a 1970 Washington quarter in great condition or with a rare mint mark or error. Are you ready? If you happen to find one of these coins in uncirculated condition, or even better, with an error, the value can be as much as $140,000. Yes, that's right, $140,000. A single 1970 Washington quarter could potentially be worth that much, depending on its rarity, condition, and minting errors. It's incredible to think that a coin which once had a face value of just 25 cents could now be worth such an eye-watering amount. This is a great reminder of just how valuable rare coins can be and how important it is to pay attention to the details when you're collecting. So, if you've been collecting coins for a while or if you happen to have a 1970 Washington quarter tucked away in a drawer, now might be the time to take a closer look. Make sure to inspect it carefully for signs of wear, mint marks, and any potential errors that could increase its value. Today, we're focusing on a coin that may have passed under your radar, but could actually hold a significant value, the 1971 Washington quarter dollar. This seemingly ordinary coin has caught the attention of collectors for its rarity and potential worth. Stick with us as we dive into its history, design, and why it could be worth far more than its face value. Let's start by talking about the Washington quarter itself. First introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the coin has undergone only minor design changes throughout its history. However, the core elements have remained constant. The profile of George Washington graces the obverse, and a bald eagle, a symbol of strength and freedom, is found on the reverse. Over the years, the Washington quarter has become a symbol of American heritage and continues to be minted today. By 1971, the Washington quarter was already over 30 years old and had gone through several design and material changes. The most significant shift occurred in 1965 when the U.S. Treasury removed silver from the quarters, replacing it with a copper-nickel-clad composition. Prior to that, quarters were made from 90% silver, but with rising silver prices and an evolving economy, the government made the decision to use a more cost-effective material. Now, when we look at the 1971 Washington quarter, we see a coin produced during this period of transition. The coin was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Interestingly, quarters from Philadelphia don't carry a mint mark, while Denver coins are marked with a D and San Francisco with an S. This small detail plays a crucial role in determining the rarity and value of the coin, especially when it comes to specific mint marks and limited production years. So why has the 1971 Washington quarter become so valuable? The key factor lies in its rarity, especially in high-grade or uncirculated condition. When a coin is produced in large quantities, most of them enter circulation and experience wear and tear. Over time, this means that most of the 1971 Washington quarters you come across will show visible signs of damage, such as scratches or fading of the design. But if you manage to find one that has been well preserved and shows little to no signs of wear, that's where the real value comes in. Coin collectors, or numismatists, are particularly interested in coins that remain in excellent condition. For a 1971 Washington quarter, finding one in mint state, meaning it looks as though it just left the mint, could increase its worth substantially. Coins that are free from blemishes, discoloration, and other imperfections are extremely sought after by collectors, as they are considered rare treasures. In addition to excellent condition, certain mint marks also influence a coin's value. As we mentioned, the 1971 quarter was minted in multiple locations, and some of these mints produced fewer coins than others. Quarters from the San Francisco Mint, in particular, are harder to find, which makes them more desirable to collectors. These coins, especially in pristine condition, can command a premium in the marketplace, but it doesn't stop there. Error coins are another reason why the 1971 Washington quarter is so special. Errors in the minting process are relatively rare and can significantly increase the value of a coin. For instance, if the coin has been double-struck, or has some other sort of minting flaw, it becomes an even more unique item for collectors. These one-of-a-kind coins are much harder to come by and are often worth considerably more than those without minting errors. Now, let's get to the exciting part. How much could a 1971 Washington quarter be worth? If you're lucky enough to have a 1971 quarter in uncirculated condition, or even better, one with a rare error or mint mark, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Some high-grade examples of the 1971 quarter have been known to fetch prices upwards of $150,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1971 Washington quarter could potentially be worth $150,000, depending on its condition, mint mark, and any unique characteristics it may have. It's a stunning amount for a coin that once had a face value of just 25 cents. Today, we've got something exciting for all the coin collectors and history lovers out there. We're taking a deep dive into a coin that might be sitting in your collection, or even in your change jar, and could actually be worth a small fortune. That's right, we're talking about the 1986 Washington quarter. At first glance, the 1986 Washington quarter might seem like just another coin from the series, but don't be fooled, it's not as ordinary as it appears. Over the years, coins from the Washington quarter series have become highly sought after, with collectors continuously looking for those rare specimens that might carry a much higher value than their face value. The 1986 quarter is one such coin that is particularly fascinating, and its value may surprise you. Stick around to find out just how much you could get for a rare 1986 Washington quarter. First, let's talk about the history behind the Washington quarter itself. Introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday, the coin has become a symbol of American heritage. For decades, the Washington quarter has been in circulation, with only a few design changes over the years. The obverse of the quarter features the profile of George Washington, while the reverse shows a bald eagle, which has been a symbol of strength and freedom in the United States. Now, fast forward to 1986, when the United States Mint produced this particular version of the Washington quarter. At the time, the quarter was made from a copper-nickel clad composition, which replaced the silver content of quarters produced before 1965. The 1986 quarter is part of a long line of coins made from this more cost-effective material, but it was still an important coin in the context of the country's numismatic history. Despite the fact that the 1986 Washington quarter was produced in large quantities and circulated widely, it is still considered valuable today due to the condition of the coins and the rarity of certain versions. Most coins from this year, like many other modern coins, were used in everyday transactions and, as a result, have suffered from wear and tear. However, for collectors, this is where the real excitement comes in. Coins in pristine or near-perfect condition are always highly valued because they are rare. Finding one that has avoided the usual dings and scratches of circulation is something special, and that's where the value really starts to increase. But it's not just the overall condition that determines the worth of a 1986 Washington quarter. The mint mark is another crucial factor in assessing the coin's value. Coins produced by the U.S. Mint come with one of three mint marks: D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and no mark for Philadelphia. The mint mark on the 1986 Washington quarter indicates where it was minted, and collectors know that some mint marks are rarer than others, which directly influences the price of a coin. Now, you might be wondering, what makes a 1986 Washington quarter so valuable? It all comes down to rarity, mint marks, and condition. While most 1986 quarters are still in circulation and easily accessible, the real treasures are those that were either carefully preserved or that have some unique characteristics. Some 1986 quarters have slight design variations, minting errors, or they may come from a less common mint facility. These coins stand out from the rest, making them more appealing to collectors. When it comes to the highest values, error coins are often the most coveted. These coins have been struck incorrectly during the minting process, making them unique and highly valuable. A 1986 Washington quarter with an error, such as a double strike or a misaligned die, could easily fetch a premium price. In fact, error coins have been known to sell for much higher than their original value, and the rarer the error, the more money you could make from selling one. Now, let's talk about the real showstopper, the price. If you're lucky enough to find a 1986 Washington quarter that is in mint state, or perhaps even a rare error coin, you could be looking at an incredibly high price tag. In fact, in some cases, these coins have been sold for prices reaching up to $190,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A single 1986 Washington quarter could be worth $190,000, depending on its condition, mint mark, and any special characteristics it may have. That's a staggering amount for a coin that originally had a face value of just 25 cents. Imagine finding one of these hidden gems in your pocket change or buried in a box of old coins. It's a coin collector's dream, so, if you have a 1986 Washington quarter lying around, it might be time to take a closer look. Whether it's tucked away in a coin jar or buried in your change collection, there's always the possibility that you could have a coin that's worth far more than its original face value. In conclusion, the 1986 Washington quarter is much more than just a piece of currency. it's a potential treasure waiting to be discovered. Its value, particularly in uncirculated or rare condition, could make it a standout addition to any collection. So, next time you're going through your change or sorting through your coins, keep an eye out for that 1986 Washington quarter. You could be holding onto a coin worth $190,000. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the world of rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an exciting coin discovery. Happy collecting, and we'll see you next time.